live on there. It's a pain in the ass. Those people are fucking assholes. Light, sweet. Yeah, gold just fucking trudging away, man. Headed to R2. Probably the trade of the day. Probably the trade of the light sweet. Light sweet. Light sweet. All right, so we're getting all set up here, and let's go. Let's get started. So I'm going to start off on gold, because last night we had a nice little trade in gold on this breakout. So I did take this breakout. I got, actually, full disclosure, got stopped out twice. Didn't like what I seen. Originally started off with like $150 of risk both times, and then quickly moved the stop up to like $50 and $40. Ended up taking like an $80 hit on a couple of trades and got in the third time. And the third time I caught this move all the way up. I mean, it wasn't an amazing trade, but here, you know, full disclosure, I said I was going to start this combine, and I'm up $210. So it was up 50 yesterday. I'm up 210. So a nice little trade in gold last night. One contract, wasn't going crazy. I mean, again, trading overnight, I don't usually go all in, just because there's not enough volume. And I'm using this Top Step X, which I have to be quite candid, it's kind of garbage. It kind of sucks. But, you know, hey, it's their first attempt at a platform. And it's not horrible. Like, I'm not going to say it's horrible. I've used worse. But it could be a lot better. But again, you know, this is the first generation of this software, so I'm not going to beat them up over it. And there you have it. So that's kind of how I'm doing in there. So, and I'm only trading like four or five things in there. I'm trading gold. I'm going to trade the ES. I'm going to trade the NASDAQ. I'm going to trade crude oil. And I'm going to maybe trade soybeans. I don't know. Soybeans just look really bad. And there just doesn't seem like there's any real sign of recovery. And I don't want to just short something just for the sake of shorting it. So I'm kind of stepping away. So let's talk about gold a little bit. I think what's probably coming up here, and you can see I have all these lines painted, and like literally I talked about the bull flag yesterday, and you know, it all looks good when it works out, right? Could be a whole different story, because like, look, I know, I mean, you draw all this crap up on the chart, and you know, you make a big deal about it, but nobody ever reflects back and says, yeah, you know, this all did this, and then, you know, oh, then I got my face ripped off because it didn't do what it was supposed to do, or what you know. I always tell people, anytime you do a trade, I don't care what the setup is, I don't know what your percentages are of win rate and all that other crap, you know, of the probability of the setup, all that stuff. As soon as you hit that buy or sell button to open something, whether you're short or long, you got a 50-50 shot. of it working, and that is it. Those are the odds. Let's flip it a coin. So anyway, this one happened to work out, and so I think the trade of the day, and I have this line up here, and I talked about it yesterday. My feeling is we've been up here a few times. This is now a double top on the hourly. I kind of see us blowing through here if we get back up here. I don't see this as like a screaming short. The probability of a triple top, those don't normally happen. And when they do, I don't think triple tops happen. I can go and look, but I don't really recall triple tops working on an hourly. If this was a 4-hour chart, I think maybe. But I don't usually see them working out. And what I see happening is I see us actually popping through here, making all-time record highs, right? Blowing through and getting all the way up to R3. And I kind of like R3 here as kind of the trade. And I'm calling it today. I think this is the trade of the day. 46, 24, 46. I'll be all right. 24, 65, 70. Did I spell that right? No. Okay. Right. So there is kind of the story. And this is today is July. What is it? July 16th, 2024. Wow. I'm just going to make a little note here. ... All-time highs. Right? So there you have that. So I kind of think that's the trade of the day. And again, I don't think you're going to take this. If you are going to take this trade, which I'm probably going to do, I'm going to do one contract. I'm not going to go. I wouldn't go all in on that. If this thing breaks out and blows out with any momentum, it could very well blow past that and make that 2,500. I think kind of 2,500 is kind of like a magnet right now. Definitely symbolic, but anyway, there you have it. R3 in gold. Now, as far as trades to the upside, or how do we catch this if this comes back down? Well, you're going to need to look at one of two places. Possibly this area down here of consolidation. If we retrace back there, that's a pretty decent move. That would mean it backs down another 10 points. I'm not sure it does that, but again, who knows? So if you're looking for maybe a pullback and a gap and go kind of thing, maybe R1 down here, 24.41. I'm not really a fan of those trades. I don't, to me, those are bull market. When something's in a bull market, that's kind of a bull market trade, right? You wait for the pullback and you jump in. I'm not big on those. I don't know, something inside my head after 30 some odd years doing this, always reluctant to get long when something's at its all-time highs. And, I've been proven wrong that's just a bad strategy right now, especially the way the market's been trading the last few years. That they continue to make all-time highs, and they continue and you continue. And I don't know, I just never recall bull markets like this in anything. But hey, it is what it is, and so maybe I need to adapt and put that one in. Maybe I need to kind of swallow it a little bit and be like, yeah. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're an old fart. We don't trade that way anymore. That stuff doesn't work. So yeah. Anyway, so that would be kind of my thing. Maybe down in here where we consolidated for a bit, and then look for that run back up. I mean, so if I were to pick an area in here, it probably would be around the 30s, 24.30, 24.32. It looks like 24.32. So yeah, that's really it in gold. I mean, I'm not gonna mess around with here. You know, my feeling is I already put this here for S2. I think that is a great spot. If we can manage to chew through all this inventory down here on the profile to make it back down there, I think that's a screaming buy, all things considering, in the current state of things, right? Things can change real fast. Political, wars, presidents type of thing, whatever. So, and then S3, I mean, I think S3 is literally a screaming buy down here if we get back. That's a lot of inventory to chew through in a short time. I mean, I have to talk about that for another week, but gold just really hasn't been doing that. So that's it. That's all I really have on gold. Not much there. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going ahead and go into crude oil, because I just want to point out, I think what's awesome about the markets is that, look, I went and put this in either yesterday or Friday or whenever the hell I did this, and I was saying, oh yeah, this I'm going to be looking at this for a buy, and last night it just blew through. Look at this. This thing just blew through here in an hour. This is an hourly candle. Blew through there like it didn't even exist. Like there was some magic line. Like I thought there was some magic line in here. Like, me and probably I don't know how many other people. As I know, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one looking at these same charts. And here we are, and crude oil is now embarking on $80 a barrel. Where just a day and a half ago, almost 2 days ago, we were looking at these highs and saying, is crude oil bullish here? And does it blow off and blow out of this channel, right? Or whatever this is, this channel. It's not a channel. It's a wedge or whatever it is you want to call it. But, maybe we're headed back down all the way down here, which is in the mid-70s. This is down near 75. I don't know, right? Crude oil's got a mind. Oh, shoot. What the heck was that? Crude oil's got a mind of its own. So if I'm looking at anything right now, I'm looking at this area. I'm going to go and push this over and try and get some stuff in here. And I'm going to look for some. Now, you see all these points of control, and look at this profile. There's nothing down here at all. Right, couple points of control here, but literally no inventory down here at all. Very, very light. And then the only real spot that's of interest, at least to me, is right around this $80 a barrel, because it seems like from about 80 to almost 79, 90, there's nothing. So what happens in these areas where there's generally no inventory on the profile, at least I've talked about it before. Anybody who's watched me is so one of two things happen in these areas. Either things slow down because there is no inventory, or if there's any kind of momentum in that general area, it will tend to slam through there it's nobody's, really fast. Because since there's really no one on the other side of those trades, it's going to go and look and keep discounting price until it finds somebody on the other side, right? I mean, that's how markets work. So if I'm looking for a spot on the downside here, I'm actually, and I don't like that round number. I never do, because always funky things happen around that round number. I mean, because let's face it, retail folks are generally drawn to these round numbers, they're, like a bleeding man at a mosquito party. They feast on them. So I'm actually going to put an alert here at 8004. 8004 as kind of a trigger point. If that gets breached today, I will consider going long here, but I'm not going to just jump in. Again, I want to see what kind of momentum we kind of go with here. So 8004, and if we have any kind of, if it's a slow grind down there, I'm going to really like that trade more than if we get down there with any kind of veracity. So that is kind of my take here on crude oil. We're down below all the pivot points for the day, so we're kind of just like kind of collapsing here. And then really, to me, the buy of the buys is down here at about 79.90, like right above here where this thing kind of, right, that's kind of what I'm looking at, around 79.90. I mean, I do think something, is it 79? I can't even see. No, it's not 79.90. I'm an idiot. Shut up. 79.62. 79.62. I'll say it again. 79.62 is going to be my kind of prime entry point on this. And again, why am I putting my alert all the way up at 80? Because I think if we do get through here with any kind of momentum, 79.62 is going to come up pretty quick. And at that point, perhaps sellers get a little exhausted for the day, and we get that, what I'm going to call like natural bounce. We do have a point of control down here at 78.95, which is a long, long way from where we're at. And for some reason, the profile is not painting on here. I don't know what the deal is with that. What's the story with that? Is TradingView having an issue with that? Because it's not. Ah, there we go. All right, so now this is a 4-hour. It doesn't like that. Look at that. I have to move this over. Where the hell did it go? What's going on, TradingView? What are you doing? What's the story here? Doesn't like that. What the heck is going on with this? What, a chart's all screwed up? What's the matter? There we go. Oh, what happened with that? It just disappeared. What the heck is going on? What is going on with that? There we go. So right in here, you could see, see what, right this, look at this big, and then we actually come all the way down here and we start to build, again, on the 4-hour, we start to build some inventory down here. So there you have it, right? 80, we're in the right spot. It's 80.06 on the 4-hour. The 1-hour, it's not showing it, but so it's funny. I picked that spot out even on a 1-hour, even though it's coming out on the 4-hour. So it's just pretty cool how that works. So that's what I'm looking at in crude oil, and that's like another one. Other than that, there's really no other spots. Like if this thing continues to fall, I pointed out 79.60s. Might give that a shot as well. But these are not like all-in trades. These are literally like one contract type of crap. Because I would not want to stand in the way if this thing decides to shit the bed here and just go south. I don't want to get in the way of that and get in front of that crap. No, thank you. And so that's the story on the crude oil. And then I'm going to head into the ES. And, I'm pissed because, as many of you may know, many of you may not know, I have a real job. Not that this isn't a real job. Well, this isn't a real job. I don't, it is. I mean, there are people who do this. I have a real job. I work 10 hours a day at a real job after I leave here. So I got busy. And I usually have the stuff like on the screen to the right of me from what I'm doing. And then I missed this, and I talked about this yesterday being the trade of the day, and it was. It literally was the trade of the day, and we got that big sell-off yesterday, and I completely missed it. And I was pretty pissed all day because that was a trade that I had said that I would go all in on that one. I was willing to go all in, and all in means like I would have done, in my regular count, I probably would have done at least 3 to 5 contracts, at least. But hey, what are you going to do? That's the way it works, and that's But not that opportunity is not going to come up again. But, same thing with the ES got going on here as with gold. I don't know. I mean, this is a 1 hour. I don't know how many times this is going to come up here and fail. I'd have to believe another push up here, unless we stay range bound today for some reason. I do not see how we come back up here and not blow this out. So if I'm looking for a trade here today, short, it's going to be somewhere near this R2, which we're running at about 57.22, pretty decent ways up. I know there's a number of earnings reports that are coming out today as well, more so tonight. Most of the bigger companies, or most of the more impactful companies, like report at night, and they're going to start. They actually started this morning with some and yesterday, but tonight you're going to start seeing the real ones. I shouldn't say the real ones, but the big ones that are going to impact the market start to pile up here. The Apples and all them. I think they're not this week. Are they this week? They might be Thursday, Friday, or next week. I don't know. I actually haven't looked. I should. Shame on me. But as far as trades, that's kind of one that I'm going to be watching today. I am not going to fiddle in the middle here at all. I am not going to mess around with any of this area between the S1 and the R1. I'm going to stay out of there. If we get range bound, you might want to say, all right, it's worth maybe taking a micro contract. Maybe you play around with a micro contract and take it. I don't see us staying in here. I think we get back down here again, and we're either going to rip from here and blow through this, or we're going to just fail and go down. I think we're going to fail the next time we come down here, and we may fail big. I mean, I just feel, too, that the market is kind of like well overdue, not for I'm not looking for a collapse, but it's well overdue for a decent whooping. Kind of needs one. I think that kind of clears out a lot of the assholes that are out there too. I know I always feel that way. We need a good old fashioned. Right now, I think the bull market is a bully, right? And then every bully needs to get their ass kicked to kind of set them a little straight, right? And the more the bully gets his ass kicked, the more he becomes a normal person. So I kind of feel like that's going on with the market right now. It's so abnormal that we just keep new highs, right? Kind of need a little ass whooping to make everybody realize that, it doesn't go straight up, more, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. So that's really all I have on that. Again, if we're going to stay range bound, you're probably going to be able to trade these two ranges. I'm not really going to stay focused on that. I'm going to stay out of it. I don't want to get chopped up because I think you could really get chopped up here. Unless earnings really start knocking it out of the park, we may actually start to see this break out. But if we see earnings kind of come in as expected or not really as strong as the market has been predicting the last month and a half or so, we really could see a little bit of a sell-off where, hey, the market's hey, look, the earnings weren't really that great. And, maybe we need to correct ourselves a little bit and get this thing more in line with where expectations are. So anyway, that's kind of it on the ES. I know it was kind of rambling, but that's really it. There's really no other spots that I see viable to take a position in today. And so that is that on the ES. Last but not least, well, actually not even last, but NASDAQ, and I'm not really going to get into the NASDAQ as much, but you can, for the most part, you could take the NASDAQ and overlay this on top of the ES, and it almost is exactly the same. It's damn near close as far as highs. However, I do like this spot up here below R3. 20,008. What is it? Is it 20,886? So I'm going to mark that as an alert. I do like that for a short. If we're able to grind through a lot of this inventory, I do think, we had a rough time getting through there, even though we had this wick kind of to me, this is just a stop run to clear people out. And then they had no problem burying this thing. Here. I don't know if we get there. I'm just marking it because I kind of like that spot a real lot here. And the other two spots, I kind of like both of these spots. I like R2 because it's a resistance level. There is no inventory up here, right? There is no inventory in here, right? Very light. So if we come up here with no momentum, this is a great spot to short R2. So I'm going to mark that, and that turns out to be 805.25 on the NASDAQ. And then really, if you want to get aggressive as well, R1. A very interesting spot, 743.75. And I really am not very interested in longs in the NASDAQ, especially at any of these levels. Just nothing. The only one that's probably going to stand out as far as to the downside, possibly as far as maybe a buy, would be S2. And the reason is you have an S2 literally right next to a point of control. It does look like there's some lows here, right? We made some lows in two spots. Maybe we get another quick bounce. So that's 429.75. I say that one lightly because I really think if we get any kind of downside momentum, I'm not going to stand in front of anything. I really feel like we can make it back down to 200s, 238. And those are the spots that I would feel most comfortable with getting long with any kind of real conviction. That's just, again, my opinion of what I'm seeing here on the charts. I don't know if we go back down. I shouldn't even say, but I just don't see us going back to 20,000. But going back to the 22s, 20,000, 230s or so, I could see us getting back down there. And to me, that's like buy city. Again, all things remaining the same. All right, and that is that. And then soybeans, which are just oh my God, what a absolute tragedy. And it's not just soybeans. I haven't really followed a lot of the grains in general, but they are all just getting annihilated. I mean, across the board. I mean, I looked at corn. Corn's back down $3 a barrel again. I'm like, wow. Soybeans down to $10. It's kind of nuts. I mean, look at these. I mean, we were all the way up here. This is the 4-hour chart. We were all the way up here, and I have to go and look at a 5-year chart to get any semblance of where we may go. And from the looks of this, we're back. We're going to 900. We're going to 900. And I'm not going to swing this. I mean, the only way you really can swing this is you're not going to do it in futures. The only way you're really going to swing something like that in a swing trade is to do options or something like that. And I'm just not in that mindset to do that. I kind of missed the boat. So you miss the boat, you miss the boat. But you see, even with options, I don't even think it would work out because it's not really a fast nasty sell-off. It's kind of a slow, grinding bleed out, and it's kind of horrible. It's almost untradeable short. I'd love to get short this market, but it's almost untradeable because it's just too damn slow. So that's really all I have to say about that. But let's look at, let's even look at corn, just for the hell of it. That as well. This is on the 5-year chart. This looks like crap. Looks like total crap. Now, does it look like maybe we're making a little bit of a base in here in corn, or we could? Yeah, possibly, but I don't really want to mess around with it. Wheat, same thing. I don't know what the hell that was. Wheat, same thing. I mean, look at this head and shoulders pattern. Like, that's like classic head and shoulders, right? Can't get better than that. It's like textbook head and shoulders pattern. Is it the end soon? I don't know. But what a mess. What a mess commodities are. Oh, those, I should say, like your soft commodities, like, and ags. They're just a mess. So they're untradeable, honestly, in my opinion. Z-scaler. Where the hell did that come from? Z-scaler. But they're untradeable. And that's it. So that's all I got to say about that. Those are kind of what I have going on. Literally a half hour today. And then what I'm probably going to do is maybe tonight or even maybe tomorrow morning, I'm going to go over a couple of earnings things that are coming through. And so there you have it. And again, I'm doing this combine. So far, so good. I'm profitable. And, I'm going to just let you know the progress. And I'm trading these setups that I'm talking about here in the morning. I'm trying to. I missed the one yesterday, right? I missed this, man. I missed it, man. What are you going to do, though? But and that's it. So have a good one, and hope to see you back tomorrow.